How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Digital World Acquisition Corp. It is back on the move. We see there's more money coming into the markets after the Fed minutes were released. I was saying in my last video we wanted to see it get back to the 21-day EMA. So that would have been around $75. We were only able to get to around $77. So I know many of you sent me messages saying, Dre, I got in at 77, now we're at 85. Do you still see the stock going to $100? You know what? We'll talk about it further in this video. I've always said more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important, because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Digital World Acquisition Corp. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $85.16, being up 4.94%. On the low, it tested $81.71, and then on the high, testing $87.50. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 5.965 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 6.974 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, but we still saw some strength inside of the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 62.78. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are above the 50-day and as well as the 21-day EMA. So we could continue to be on this strong uptrend, and you guys know that's what I love to see. We also see that we've been forming higher lows for the past 2 trading days, and one thing I want you guys to be aware of, I was saying that we wanted to see it touch the 21-day EMA around 75 or 76. I was unable to give you guys an update, but the stock got down to 77. So that does look like it would have been a solid entry considering where we're at right now. We ended up testing a high of 87.50 on the day. So for this coming week, if we see some strength inside of the market, I'm looking for that test right here at $90. We know this will be a key level, and the last time we were able to break through 90, we ended up getting all the way up to here to around 97. So that's one thing you want to add to your homework, and it does provide an opportunity for a lot of traders. Of course, when I was talking about getting into a position, it was when it was trading in the mid 50s. So if you are still in it, things are looking good for you. And like I said, this is going to be a $100 stock. Doesn't matter who disagrees with me or not, because you look at this trend that it's been on and look at the volatility we see in the market. So this is why, as far as for entries are concerned, even though we didn't get that 75, 76, it was still not a bad idea to get in around 77. And as far as support, one thing we do know for a fact, we are holding up this $80 level very well. And I can see this continuing. So let's see how it performs as this week comes closer to the end. Now let's go into the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Digital World Acquisition Corp. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So we'll take a look at the recent filings for the 15th because we already covered the ones for the 14th. So we have Jane Street Corp LLC that purchased 93,413 shares. And then when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 56.89%. And then for the dark pool short volume, it is at 858,525 shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 0, updated 23 minutes ago. And then for the short bar fee rate, it is saying that it is not available. Remember, the last time when we did a video, it was fairly fairly high. I think it was around 100%. So keep that in mind. And then when we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio for the February the 14th, it was at 52.09. And then for the 15th, which was yesterday, being at 56.89. So it has gone up a bit. And one thing that remains the same, DWAC does have short squeeze potential. And it's part of the reasons why you want to continue to keep this play on your radar. So now let's go into the order flow distribution.
Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Digital World Acquisition Corp. So for the inflow, it's at 102, and then on the outflow, it's at 112. So we ended up having an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large, it was 1.22. On the medium, it was 100, and then on the small, it was 0.49. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 0.71. On the medium, it was 112, and then on the small, it was 0. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for February the 16th, it being at 0.51 million. We also did see an inflow on the 15th being at 0.65. So out of the past 5 trading days, we have seen 3 inflow days. Now, when we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 16.08%. So for a stock like DWAC, this is not surprising. There's a lot of traders going in and out. It is extremely volatile. And that's why I say you want to make sure that you have a game plan. Know your entry. Know your exit. Don't let your emotions get in the way and take advantage of those opportunities that this stock presents. So now let's go into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Digital World Acquisition Corp, as far as for the key levels, one thing that is very clear, there is some support holding up right at $80. But if it breaks through $80, this is where you want to see it test around $78. And then if it breaks through 78, this is where we could start potentially seeing around 76. As far as for the bullish case scenario, as far as resistance, it is right at $90. Keep in mind, the last time we broke through $90, we jumped up to 97. So this is why I'm saying, breaking through 90, things can get very interesting. I still believe that this stock is going to reach $100. So shout out to everyone who was able to jump into the play when I said, you know what, it looks really good to load up on some shares when it was in the mid $50 range, so around $53 to $54. We saw it trading in a tight range between the high 47s and as well as for the low to mid 50s. So it was literally building itself up. And as soon as when we started getting information about when this merger is going to be complete, that's when it started running up. So this is why I say doing your homework and doing your due diligence can go a long way. And when you can get in with a solid entry and be able to ride these run-ups, even if the stock does pull back a little bit, you have no reason to be sweating whatsoever. For myself, as far as the stop loss is concerned, I have it right around $70 with my average cost being right around $54. So if it wants to do its pullback to 75, even though it went up to 85, I'm not concerned about it whatsoever. I would suggest that you have a strategy for yourself. Do not rely on your emotions to make the next decision for you. This is the wrong way to approach the market, and you will learn a quick lesson if you haven't learned it already. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. No surprise, there's a lot of negative sentiment around the stock because it is affiliated with Donald Trump. But over here, we're focused on getting profits, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing when it comes to this play. And shout out to anyone who's already taken profits already. I know there's a lot of traders that like going off the intraday movements. So again, I am not mad at you. Get that money. And before I close this video out, also when we took a look at the recent institutional ownership, we could see institutions have been loading up on shares. So they are bullish on Digital World Acquisition Corp. And I see no reason why we shouldn't be bullish as well. Like I said, this is a swing trade. Once it gets to $100, most preferably around 110, I like to get out my initial investment and ride this thing as far as it goes. And of course, I will be moving up my stop loss to make sure I can keep some more cash in my pocket as well. That is the right way to go about doing it, because we already know as it gets closer to that combination and what happens with SPACs, when everything is all said and done, it can get volatile, and I don't need to be riding the elevator on no play whatsoever. Learn from your experiences and reduce unnecessary mistakes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.